Okay, welcome back to How You Slice It with a very, very special guest, close friend of ours, of our team, and someone who's instrumental and playing such a critical role in the pizza industry today, Nicole Russell.
My
Thank
pleasure
you
to
so
be
much.
here.
Yeah, I can get into sort of what you're about and Last Dragon Pizza, but I really want to hear it from you. Walk us through who is Nicole, what are you about, and tell us a little bit more about how Last Dragon Pizza came to be, including the name, which is amazing.
Well, long story short, Last Dragon Pizza was a complete fluke. I just was playing around in the kitchen. And, I was going through some difficult times and I just started baking because it felt good. And I just became obsessed with making pizza and perfecting my dough. And then I offered it to someone and then they bought it. This is the short version. And
Give me the long version. Who is Nicole?
Okay, so Nicole.
Where do you come from?
Okay, my name is Nicole,
Yeah.
and I'm from New York. I was born here. I live in the Rockaways. I've, second home generation owner in the Rockaways. So I'm really a Rockaway true and blue person.
And this is in Queens, New York.
In Queens, New York, yep. I've traveled, been all over, but Rockaway is always home. Always home. And I love it out there because it's just your little piece of, it's a beach community and, it's still a part of New York and get it to escape, all the buildings and everything like that and get like a nice quiet life if you so choose, but then you can have a little excitement if you so choose too.
You've got access to the excitement, obviously, which is New York City.
Exactly. So, I never thought in a million years that I would be a pizza maker. Never thought.
Why pizza? Why not baking cookies or why not some other product?
It was just really simple. I was a great bread maker. And I ordered pizza one night. I did not like it.
Okay.
And I was like, I can make bread. I probably can make pizza, Yeah. And then I just became obsessed.
Oh, okay.
That's just what happened to me.
How long ago was that?
That was 2013, actually. Yeah.
So almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years.
Time flies.
Yeah.
I feel like when we met, you were just kind of getting going and time really does fly.
Yeah. And from there, someone bought it from me, and I never thought about selling pizza until he wanted to buy it. And then from there, my friends all thought I was having a midlife crisis, and they were comparing me to the movie The Last Dragon. I don't know if you guys ever saw the movie The Last Dragon.
Tell me more about The Last Dragon.
So The Last Dragon, it has a real deep meaning for me on two folds. One, my sister took me to see that movie when I was a little girl. It's like I remember the day that she took me to see that movie.
Yeah.
So it's like our favorite movie together. And then the second part was there's this black family in the movie, and they were being ridiculed because they owned a pizzeria. Because they were a black family owning a pizzeria. So my friend came and teased me, and he said, "Oh, what do you think? You think you're like Daddy Green's Pizza from The Last Dragon?" And I was like, you know what? I love that movie. And I was like, maybe I could just play on that movie and make pizzas inspired by, that movie. And come up with cool names and themes for my pizza. And that's how Last Dragon Pizza was born.
And you know what? There's a theme that keeps coming up on this platform. Having spoken to a handful of other pizzeria operators or founders, and what's really inspiring for me is that Last Dragon as a name has a meaning to you.
Oh,
it's incredibly authentic, right? You weren't really concerned about what others were going to say.
No.
You weren't really concerned about whether it's a common pizza name or not.
No.
You weren't trying to be someone else.
No.
It just meant something really important to you.
Yes.
And every time I hear someone taking that path, the byproduct, the output of that is an amazing story, an amazing brand, an amazing name, because it's authentic. And that's probably why I love it.
Well, I have to tell you, I think you're hitting it right on the nail. And to this very day, with everything that, not that I've accomplished so much, right? But,
you have.
I'm doing, a lot of stuff. I still don't care.
Yeah.
I still don't care. I'm still doing what is in my heart and what I want to do. Of course, I'm listening to people and getting advice and, hearing people's opinions, but at the end of the day, it's what drives me. It's what's in my heart and what's in my soul and what I want to give to the people. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you certainly care about the feedback loop from your customers.
Right.
You don't care about what others are doing.
No,
right?
I don't.
You're doing it your way, and that always ends up becoming the more successful path.
Yep.
Which I think is just a common theme that keeps coming up. And I want listeners of this podcast to really embrace that.
I think that's really important. And another theme in the movie The Last Dragon is Bruce Leroy, the main character, he's on a journey to reach the higher level. So it's like the movie just kept paralleling my life.
Yeah.
You know, because I wanted to be like a stellar top pizza maker. Like I was in the house just coming up with formulas of dough for like 3-4 years before I even came, quote unquote, outside. Like just formulating and experimenting until I perfected my dough. You know what I mean?
Tell me more about your product, the pizza itself. Is there a specific style?
Well,
I know it's really creative, so I want people to know more about your pizza.
Well, I would say Last Dragon Pizza is like a taste of New York. And I created my specific pizzas for the food desert of my neighborhood. Like in my neighborhood, Rockaway, they didn't have a lot of variety of food. Like I couldn't get Indian food, I couldn't get like a real good vegan, food or anything like that. So I came up with things to fill a void of what was in the neighborhood. So, I did Philly cheesesteaks because I loved Philly cheesesteaks and couldn't really get a lot of that out there. I wanted to make a pizza like that. I did tandoori, tikka pizza because I love Indian food and I wanted to do that. I did a Korean barbecue, Asian barbecue pie because I wanted that, so I came up with like 7 or 8 pies to just make it like a taste of New York, kind of, sort of. Like you had to have pepperoni. So my whole theory was pepperoni should be free because at this point, it's just an integral part of pizza. So I would tell people, you want pepperoni, it's free. It's not a topping anymore.
Okay.
So that was my little...
Amazing.
Yeah.
What's your favorite pie? And walk me through how you make it and what exactly is in it.
I would say my favorite pie is the tikka masala pie. I call it a tandoori pie, but it's I love the yogurt. And I used to, I learned how a simple process, right? So I don't want anybody to think it's a rocket science, but at the time it was so exciting learning how to make my own yogurt, and I want to make my yogurt from scratch. And then I went to the spice shop and picked out the tandoori spices and everything like that, and really got my curry and my masala together, and I really love that, and I love the taste of the tikka with the lime. It's like one of my favorite palette.
And so did you make the sauce out of that?
Oh, I made the sauce from scratch myself. Everything. Like I got recipes and I would tweak it. A lot of ginger, garlic. I would make my own yogurt, which I used to find so exciting watching it. In the oven. When I first learned how to do that.
I'm getting hungry.
Then, making my dough from scratch, and then got tomato. It was just like everything was just like so authentically me in the pie.
Absolutely.
So that was my favorite one.
And then
I used to call that, by the way, the seventh heaven.
I was just going to get to that. You start, and then you're branding these pies with these super unique names that also have a meaning to you.
You're right. So it's names from the movie or the characters from the movie. So the glow. So kind of like the glow was like, if you found me, you got the glow, because, I was like this underground movement before underground movements were even happening. And it was like, just getting a pizza from me, you already have the glow, because in the movie the ultimate goal was to have the glow. He was on this journey to find this thing that's always inside of himself, and when he found it, he had the glow. So I gave that to my customers essentially. So we had the glow. Then we had Daddy Greens. My father was vegan, and so I was so excited to make a vegetable or vegan pie called Daddy Greens, because it's also Daddy Green's restaurant, but it's also my father. So it's like a part of my father in there. And then the Asian barbecue is like from the movie Sukiyaki Hot Sakisu, a good, it's like this little fun part of the movie.
Yeah.
So I just started naming everything the Shonuff, because it was like the beef, and Shonuff was so mean in the movie. So it's like Shonuff was the Philly cheesesteak meat pie. So I just started naming everything after.
Amazing. And so walk me through how you went from innovating on these products, you're going out to local shops to find the right recipe ingredients, the right spices, and you're making this amazing product. How do you go from that to having customers?
Oh, so when I started to sell, per se, it was around Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
So I made this flyer, with the Last Dragon, and came up with all the pies just on a fluke again, because I was just brainstorming off the top of my head, and I started handing it out.
So just a simple one pager.
And I would
with
cut
like
it,
your menu.
Yeah, and I would print it in a printer and cut it. It wasn't even like I got fancy with it.
Right.
And then when the guy asked me to buy the pizza, I had no idea that Webstaurant delivered the next day. So I just ordered boxes and they came. So it was like the first pizza I sold. I had a box. And I had the flyer, and I put it in a box, and I was like, here.
And you handed out these flyers in your neighborhood?
In my neighborhood, hung up in supermarkets, joined Facebook groups, everything like that.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And
called all my friends.
Yeah, and so you're making them all from your apartment or your house.
My house, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so this first person, do you remember?
Of course.
By the way, I remember the first customer for Slice.
You do?
Yeah, all the way back in 2010.
I still praise his name. His name is Louis. He was an electrician in my house, and he recently just installed something in my house, maybe 2 months ago. And I was like, Louis, look what you did! Look what you did, Louis! And I love him. So if Louis ever hears this, I love you, Louis.
That's so
I'll never forget
amazing.
him because of that. And he was also just a nice. You know what's so funny? He kind of set the tone.
Yeah.
For how everything started, because he was such a nice, decent kind of man, just a decent human being. And all my customers, over all the years that I sold pizza from home, I never had an upset. And every single person, I never had anyone that wasn't decent.
I will tell you what it did for me was, and from what I'm hearing, it's kind of a similar experience for you, which is there's so much anxiety going into selling your first pie. Or in a lot of cases, opening up your shop and unlocking the door. First day, are people even going to show up? Is anyone going to buy the product? Are they going to like it? And once you have that first customer or first couple of customers, the confidence they give you is just incredible. And it really is the foundation that allows you to then say, oh, this is actually going to work. And it's going to work really well. And also set the tone for what kind of customers you want, and how to hopefully repeat that same experience. So I love that.
No, I have to say that it just made me really believe in people. I know what I would do, but I wasn't sure what others would do, right? And I still have loyal customers to this day that are like family to me, that still reach out to me, and they're asking me for a pie, and I'm like, I'm going to get you one. Just, let me just navigate through all the stuff that's happening right now. And I would make pizza for them for free. I love them. I mean, there's so many people there were so many times in the beginning where I sat at home and no one would come see me. Not a soul. Not even my friends. Not even my family. No one. And I was ready and prepared, and I would just sit there and I would say, oh, well, maybe it'll happen the next day. And maybe it'll happen the next day. And then all of a sudden, slowly but surely, people started to spread the word.
Pizza was bringing people together.
Yes, as they should.
As it should. And that's never been more of an issue as it is these days.
Yes.
During and post pandemic.
Yes.
I think people really became a lot more divided because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
How did your business change pre and post pandemic?
Well, I want to say my business changed. I am actually the model that everyone pretty much took up, because I was a delivery only business. You had to call, place an order, and you have to meet me to get the pie. You know what I mean? And then a lot of people, I remember, didn't even have online service, like websites, or wouldn't even join Slice. I remember, no. Hold up. I got to give you your props, Alir. I got to give you your props. So I was this girl just doing pizzas from home, and a lot of people wouldn't, can I curse on here?
Of course.
A lot of people wouldn't fuck with me. A lot of people would not fuck with me. They would be like, but she's at home, but she does it from home. It was always this but thing, right?
Yeah.
And your company was like, you know what? We believe in you. You have customers. Let them order through us. Period.
Yep.
And I love that spirit.
Of course.
Of Slice.
Yeah.
And I've always been loyal to your brand because of that.
You.
No, seriously, because no one can forget the people that take a chance on you. You know what I mean? And I would tell people all the time, like, you should try slice. You should try slice. They say, oh, I don't know. And then the pandemic happened, and then they tried slice because if they went to Uber, they knew it was going to get 30% of their sales.
Yeah.
So they knew that this slice was just for pizza.
Yeah, our entire focus is partnering with pizza makers, whether they're making pizza at their house.
Yeah.
Or
I think that
at 5 restaurants.
Listen.
Yeah.
That is the wave.
Yeah.
That is the wave. The independence, that is the wave.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people didn't see that, and you were ahead of that.
Yeah.
And I didn't even see it for myself. It just became that because I didn't want to sell pizza, but I started getting customers.
Yeah.
And then I found this thing that I was in love with, and then it became lucrative, and then it became sustainable for me, and I could live off of it.
Connected you to people.
Connected me to so many people that I will never forget.
Yeah.
So I just love the spirit of Slice, and we're so we're so together like that. I love that, and I'll never forget that.
That I'm sure our team will really appreciate this part of the segment.
Yeah.
The credit is really all on our team.
No, your
I'm
team
just
is
one person.
Still so instrumental because you can call them up and they will still help you.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. So you go from this super successful, very local, pizza delivery business, and now it's like, walk me through what's going on now.
Well, right now it's like I'm not really selling anymore.
Yeah.
At the moment, I have a show.
Tell me more about
I have a
Pizza
show
Wars.
on First We Feast on YouTube, Complex, distributed by BuzzFeed Complex. First We Feast. That's the hierarchy.
Yeah. Can we, if you can, just walk everyone through in a simple way how they can access First We Feast?
All you have to do is go on YouTube and it's a channel called First We Feast, or you could type in Pizza Wars or First We Feast and you'll find everything there.
Great. Awesome. And so what is Pizza Wars all about?
So Pizza Wars is actually like parallel to my journey where I want to be the top pizza maker period, right, in the world eventually, right?
You will
some
be.
time. Oh, thank you.
If you're not already there, people just haven't discovered it.
I feel like I'm pretty good, but I got a long way to go. There's a lot of people that's been doing this 30, 40 years. I always remember that. And, you have to just put skin in the game, and I'm willing to do that. So, I never take myself too seriously, but I do have goals.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they put me up against some people like some food titans of the internet, like whether they are like big TikTok stars with 11 million followers for food, or like 500,000 followers or 1 million followers or 10 million followers. They put me up against these food titans on the internet, and we battle it out making pieces. But then we have these challenges that are like
What's an example?
Well, my favorite challenge I've had so far was what my favorite episode is. My favorite episode, not challenge, was with Mike Hawk from Tony Baloney's.
Tony Baloney's.
Yes.
Mike is a legend.
He's a legend, and he's great. He's a really good person, too.
Yeah.
Wonderful guy. But it was make a viral pizza. And I have to admit, when they gave me the challenge, I didn't understand the assignment. I was like, viral? What will be viral? Oh, I'll just make a pizza out of popcorn. And then Mike Hawk came on there, and he set the pizza on fire, pulled a bone out, and did all this stuff. And it was so funny because people don't know this. They shot the judges table round first, and it was Mark Iacono as a judge and Scott Wiener as a judge. So I already knew when I shot the cooking scene that I lost, but I knew I lost when I saw him set it on fire. I was like, you know what? All right. You're setting pieces on fire. Let me just be a gracious host. So that episode was one of my favorite episodes because he just went crazy and nuts. And I also enjoyed making a popcorn pizza.
Yeah.
A pizza out of a popcorn crust. I made like a clam pie.
Yeah, walk me through that.
Yeah, so what we did was we popped the popcorn fresh, and then we combined it with cheese and everything like that, then baked it. And then we just topped it with fresh clam, lemon, just a clam pie, but the crust was made out of popcorn, and it was delicious.
I need to try this.
But again, Mike went ham on it, so he won. That was a great episode.
Yeah. And
then my second favorite episode was Pizza in a Cup, where we had to, take like pizza in a movie. And I loved The Jerk growing up. And I loved Steve Martin, and he put the pizza in a cup and ate it. And at first the producers was like, I don't know about it. And I was like, let me try it. And it came out phenomenal. And it actually won when it was pizza in a cup. So that was fun. And so we play around. So we do traditional pizza, but we also do things that's, non-traditional as well. And we compete in a soft competition because after all, it's just pizza, But
it's supposed to be fun.
It's supposed to be fun.
Exactly.
Like, you don't want to get crazy over pizza, right?
Yeah, that's my favorite part about being in this industry is just there's nothing negative about pizza. It's just fun.
Right.
It's not serious. It's, celebratory. There's just so many positive vibes that come from it. What are some big accomplishments that you've kind of, had to experience, whether it was personal or industry-wide? Because I know, like, you're just so present across the community, and just walk the audience through some of the other great experiences you've had through pizza over the last few years.
I would say the people is paramount. And you want to know something? I know that pizza this industry is great, but it's getting very competitive now. And I just really hope that it stays great.
Yeah.
But the people are just, I have to say, I would not be anywhere without the people. The pizza industry people have helped me tremendously. I stand on the shoulders of a lot of people that open their doors to me and show me the way. Like, my friend Sirhan, Nino Caniglio, I spent 4 months with him running around the city. It was some great times. Orlando Foods, went to Naples with them.
To Naples?
Yeah. Got to see the Trofeo Cup out there in Naples. And
what is that walk?
That's the Neapolitan
Championship Cup.
Championship Cup, correct. But it was the first time they had an American division, so they allowed American pizzas and pies to be a part of it. And I was so blessed and fortunate to be on that trip and able to do that. Mark Iacono, he gave me a shot, let me take over his restaurant.
And for the audience, Mark owns Lucali's.
Yep. Yeah, he's still someone I can call right now. We have Mikey, my friend Mikey out in Long Island. He owns Mikey Underground Pizza, which is doing so phenomenal right now.
Amazing.
And he's been so helpful to me. It's just so many people I could sit here and name, that's been so instrumental in helping me be at this point. You know what I mean? And I'm always so grateful for that.
One of my long-standing beliefs has been that, what I love about the community, it is a community, is that it's a number, it's like thousands and thousands of independents. You're an independent, authentic, independent. Yeah. You've got your brand. You have your product that is all you, and it's special. And then there's the next person, and it's so... There's a collection of these independents that have formed a community. And it absolutely is a community. Yeah. Walk me through a little bit more of what that means for you. And for me, the question is, how can we unlock the true potential of that community?
I think it's important to listen to everyone's true desire. Like, I've never, ever, ever got into this to have a restaurant. Never. Never wanted a restaurant. Never envisioned myself with a restaurant. It's the natural progression for me now, but it wasn't something that I wanted or even knew or fathomed how I can even do it. Yeah. But it's pushing me. The industry and my career and my life is pushing me in that direction because I do miss serving the people. And it's time, so that's coming down the pike. And then also just listening to what people's needs are. Like, I listen to a lot of restaurant owners and they feel trapped in their restaurants. Like, I wish I could do it just like this. I talked to someone the other day. They said, I just gave up my restaurant. Now I just have a truck.
Interesting.
So people are giving up their brick and mortars now. That's to tell you how the pendulum has shifted. Yeah. People are literally walking away from brick and mortars, because they're missing their freedom, or they want to do the pizza thing, but they don't want to feel boxed in. And then New York, like the times, COVID, and at anyone's discretion, anything can change. And then it's like, what are we doing today? All the rules and regulations, it's like, so super stressful to a lot of business owners.
It's too much.
It's too much.
Yeah, and the
And
independence.
someone that was avidly looking, it became too much. You know, like the community boards out here. Oh, you can't serve liquor. Oh, you can't do that. You know, New York is changing. You know, the rules are changing, and you know, a lot of people have nostalgia for old New York, and they want to do old New York things in the new New York. And we have to come to grips that New York is changing.
Yep.
New York has changed.
Yep.
And it is changing. And sometimes New York, you know, is its own worst enemy. Sometimes with their rules and their regulations, it's too much.
And I would say it's pretty consistent in every sort of geography. Every city has its own rules and regulations, and sometimes they're really outdated, and sometimes they're constraining. And in essence, they're increasing the barriers to entry for entrepreneurs and makers. One of the challenges and why some people may be even giving up their brick and mortar and they feel stuck in a restaurant is because it is their responsibility to, in essence, perform every job possible.
Exactly.
What do you think needs to change in order for an independent operator to be able to have the ability to own a restaurant, own a business, but at the same time give themselves the opportunity to be a little bit more or less stuck inside?
I just think that employees need to feel vested. They need to feel like they're really a part, you know, of the business. They need to feel like they're a part of something. If they don't feel that, there's no incentive for anyone to stay these days. You know what I mean? Like, either you're giving them a piece of the business or they have the feeling that they're really a part of your family and you look out for them. Everyone I know that has, like, people that's been with them 10, 15, 30 years, they feel like the business is theirs.
They're part of the family.
They're part of the family, you know, whether they really are or aren't. You know, everyone wants to feel vested in some kind of way. And I think long are the days where you just have the worker and, you know, I'm just telling, have these expectations without considering the workers' lives and their needs and what they need to feel happy and survive with their families.
Yep.
I think that that's all that it is.
Yep.
Yeah. Before there was like a separation of that. Like your worker comes in, they go home, you don't know nothing about them. Now it's like, you know, I need help with a mortgage. I need help with this. I need help with that. And I think that that's where we're heading towards.
I couldn't agree more. And for you now personally, we're at not a crossroads, but at an inflection point for Last Dragon Pizza.
Yeah.
Where are we today with Last Dragon Pizza? What can we expect in the near future? And I'd love to talk more a little bit about some of the challenges that you faced in that journey.
Well, what we can expect is, first and foremost, I'm so happy to announce that I am like 98% at the finish line of signing for my first restaurant.
We're going to do a big cheers, a big applause. Yeah.
I'm so happy about that. So that's first and foremost. I'm going to open a brick and mortar, but I was really fortunate. I had this great person, Garland. He was out there scouting for me. He found me a short-term lease. So a lot of times when you go out and look for a lease, you would look for a lease that's like, 10 years.
15 years, yeah.
No, I didn't want to. I wanted something where I could give it a shot, enough time to recoup my money or make money, but then leave if I wanted to leave and not feel like, stuck.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of agreement that I've got, and I'm so excited about that.
And the location is going to be in
Miami. In Miami. I'm super happy about that.
Yeah.
And another thing is I'm definitely going to be doing a lot more frozens and straight to market, like straight to frozens probably in supermarkets.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And just more products, sauces, frozen pies, whatever. Yeah.
So you're going to start bottling up.
Bottling up everything. I've always had this dream of making like my own TV dinner.
Amazing.
So I'm going to make that wings and pizza TV dinner. Mm-hmm. That's my goal, actually. Yeah.
And how does one go about even exploring a frozen pizza line? Walk us through how some of those opportunities.
Well, I've been doing frozen pizza since 2016, honestly, and I was shipping nationwide from my house.
Wow.
Yeah, so I lived in an area where people came down seasonally, and they would go back to wherever they came from because I live in a beach community.
Right.
And they would write me letters from all over the country. Oh, we had your pizza. We would wish. So I started like really trying to develop this frozen pizza shipping process, and it took me a couple of months. Like, I did it the long way. I don't suggest anybody go to Goldbelly. Like, don't do what I did. Like, what I did was I studied every single postal code in the country from my postal code to see how long it will take to get there nationwide. I actually did that. I was crazy. So in my spare time,
but you learned a lot.
Yeah, I learned a whole lot
Yeah.
about logistics, everything about this, about 3 day, 2 days, about how to package dry ice, the limitations with the United States Post Office, FedEx. Each company has their own thing. Like FedEx is more money, but you can put unlimited ice. United States Post Office has 5-pound limit. How do I get my pieces transported in 5-pound limit ice from the United States Post Office? Figuring out price points because I didn't want to charge people $100 for 2 pies of pizza. But I did figure it out, and I was shipping from, I would say, up until 2020, before the pandemic. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Pieces nationwide.
I love that.
And then in 2020 Christmas, in 2020, that was the last time I shipped because then the post office got bananas. And I remember I had about 27 orders going out, like just orders different all over the country.
Yeah.
And all 27 didn't make it.
Oh, boy.
And I had to eat that. And I was like, you know what? This pandemic, we're not ready. So I just stopped.
Yeah. Sometimes the conditions around you don't
right.
Change
so
to the point.
things are changing, and now you have to, cover it.
And then walk me through your journey to open up a shop. I think there's so many aspiring operators who face very similar challenges. So I think it's so important for them to hear from you because I think that some of those challenges are so common. I don't want people to feel like they're alone.
Well, there was a lot of, you have to have a really good accountant, really, get a mentor, a friend, someone that really knows, because that's what I had to do, because I was looking at a restaurant prior and they were trying to tell me that they were $1 million business, and they wanted me to take over the business, and then when I got to the restaurant, I know what a pizzeria looks like. I know what a busy pizzeria looks like. I know what $1 million pizzeria should be happening in that space.
Yeah.
I have loads of friends at pizzerias. So when I walk in, I can tell.
Yeah.
And I was looking and I was like, I don't see
the phone's not ringing.
Yeah, the phone's not ringing. There's no delivery drivers. You telling me that you're getting like all this money from Slice and
DoorDash,
Uber Eats. And I'm like, well, where are the drivers? Where are the delivery people? And I came there in a day and I sat there, had Slice. Came there at night, didn't see anything. They showed me their numbers. They were refusing to give me actual bank statements, just copies. Sent to my accountant. He's like, well, where's the checks? Where's the page with the checks? I'm like, right, I didn't see that. It's like you really gotta be like vigilant.
Yes.
You gotta look at
there are no shortcuts. You gotta do the hard work. Yeah.
Yep. The grease trap inspections.
Yeah.
Looking at their inventory, see, you could tell what they're making money based on their inventory receipts. Let me see them. My friend Mikey taught me that. And then oh my gosh, it's not for the faint of heart, because your heart gets into it and you really want it, and then you got to let it go.
Yeah.
So that happened to me a couple of times. I actually got depressed. I'm not going to lie to you, because you start envisioning yourself in a way like, all right, I'm finally going to be able to do this. And then
there's another hurdle.
Yeah. Or another lie. Or sometimes it's a lie and sometimes it's just a hurdle.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's both.
Yeah.
Where you ask questions and you just won't get answers, but then they, trying to push something on you. Or, you have a great landlord, wonderful landlord person, but then the community board sucks. They don't want you to sell liquor until this time. They don't want you to get a liquor license at all.
So you have to refine your vision because the community board doesn't.
And then, how much pizza am I really going to make for this $18,000 a month rent? You know what I mean? So if I don't have liquor, what am I doing with an $18,000 a month rent?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like you have to adjust for that. So it's not for the faint of heart. And then, a lot of landlords got their PPP and they didn't care. They got their loans and they didn't care. They weren't willing to adjust to, the market was overinflated.
Yep.
They weren't willing to adjust. And they were like, we're just going to hold it out. And that's what a lot of people, especially in New York, did.
Yeah.
They just held it out. And then I would put myself in their position. And I'm like, well, maybe if I had a place, I would hold it out. So I wouldn't take it personal. But at the same time, it wasn't the right time or place for me.
Yeah. And look, I mean, these barriers, like these things break the spirits
Yes.
of entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And it's counter to what we want in this country, right?
Yes.
We want more operators, more entrepreneurs, more authentic brands and authentic products. But
Yes.
these like hurdles are so massive sometimes that it breaks your spirit.
It breaks your spirit.
And then you're just like, to your point, you know, depressed or
Yeah.
you give up. And I think
especially
this is
since I never wanted it.
right. Right.
So then I start leaning towards it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, maybe this is just really not me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
think about that as the challenge, because I think this is the number one problem that I see, and what we really want to solve is think about how many hurdles there are for an authentic, local, independent entrepreneur to turn their vision and their product into a business.
Mm-hmm.
But think about whether a Domino's would have to go through the same challenges.
right.
Do they? I don't think they do.
I don't think they do either.
Right.
Yeah,
and so
they
it's
don't.
easier to open up a Domino's than
Oh,
it is
yeah.
to open up Last Dragon Pizza.
Tell me about it.
Right.
Tell me about it.
And so-
money flowing.
And so what happens is, you know, if we fast forward 10 years from now, there's going to be a bunch of Domino's and no Last Dragon pizzas. And that's a
Exactly.
very, in my opinion, a very sad world.
I agree. I mean, Domino's does what Domino's, they do what
Yeah.
they do. However, we need to get more expression. Like there's a lot of people, there's a lot of pizza that's all the same. That, people
Homogenous.
Yeah.
Homogenous, yeah.
Yeah, they feel like this is what pizza is and that's it. And that's not the truth.
No,
Pizza is changing and pizza belongs to the world. I hate to break it to everybody.
I agree.
It belongs to the entire world.
Yep.
It's one of the number one food product, if not the number one food product in the world.
I agree.
You know what I mean? I've done my research. I've done business plans. So I mean, it belongs to the world, and we need to see what other people have visions and their expression of what pizza means to them. We can't just keep having the same old all the time.
Yep.
But at the same time, you can respect the craft and
Of course.
what got us here, and I will never disrespect that.
Of course.
But at the same time, so I study hard to keep that craft.
Yep.
But at the same time, I have my own vision.
Absolutely.
And I have my own, taste buds.
Yeah.
And I want to do what I want to do.
Yeah. And we just, again, the most important part of this is, okay, how do we figure out ways to allow you, and not allow, but like empower you to be able to turn that into an actual business so that customers can interact with your food and interact with your product. And so in essence, that's the only way that I think communities will remain more authentic and more diverse and more colorful from a food palette standpoint.
There's nothing greater than logging onto an app like Slice and you see your local pizzeria that's been here for ages. And you're like, oh, I can order from them. But then you scroll down and say, what's this?
Right.
And then you look at the menu, it's like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's different. I never saw that before.
Amazing.
Wow, let me try that tonight.
Yeah.
That's America.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
That's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you spoke a little bit about your vision. Give me your 12 to 24 month vision for this location. In sort of in your best days when you're imagining like what are you doing in this shop in 12 months.
I just want to have
Walk me
fun.
through that experience.
I want to have fun. I want to create a fun, happy, lively experience. I want my brand to represent ambition because I did start from a countertop in my kitchen. And, if you follow my journey from the countertop in my kitchen to a restaurant, that's a big leap.
Yeah.
And it's also a big leap of faith on for me to do. I don't give myself credit, but I it's not missed upon me that I do take a lot of risk and a lot of chances. And I think other people should take more risks and chances. It's not always easy, but sometimes if you just follow what's in your soul, you reap the benefits.
Do you have a vision for what it'll be like for a customer to walk inside? What are the colors?
I definitely, it's gonna be, I'm really working hard on this experience, but it's going to be something that says vibrancy, happiness, and joy, and it's gonna be reflected in the food as well.
I love that. Okay. Let's fast forward 5 or 10 years.
Yes.
Vision.
Oh, I want to be all over the world.
Okay.
And I want to throw pizzerias.
Pizza raves.
Yeah, I just want to throw raves around the world.
How about we set a goal of like throwing the world's largest rave?
Do it.
Yeah.
That is my ultimate goal.
Yeah.
The largest pizza rave in the world.
Ever. Yeah.
Let's do it, Elaine.
And so what's this about? Tell me what's
I want people to just dance, enjoy life, feel the beat, feel the groove, and just eat pizza and be happy. And be happy. Yeah.
I think what I love about talking to you is just the connection between your passion for pizza, the community around it, and how it's helped you personally and your own personal feelings and your well-being from a mental state.
Definitely. Like, people say this all the time, pizza saved your life, but it did. There was a period of my life where I wasn't sure what was next for me, but what was so crazy was I always knew, and people ridiculed me when I first started, and I wasn't even thinking about selling.
Who can possibly ridicule?
You never know.
I want to know.
People too. They're like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
And like even my own family, some people would say, my sister does pizza, but it's in her house."
Oh.
You know what I mean?
I view that as a positive.
I do, yeah, but some people can't break out of the box of just understanding that I do pizza in my house. So what?
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
People love it. People love the product, you know? And I'm curious about this thing, and I'm fascinated about this thing, and and I think that I want that to last forever.
I love that.
Forever.
What are, as the last question, one or two pieces of advice you would give either aspiring entrepreneur in the space or an existing operator that you believe will make them a better version of what they are?
I mean, for an existing operator, I want to start with that because a lot of my friends are existing operators, and they sacrifice a lot. Like, I don't take it lightly. They sacrifice their families, family time. They sacrifice, their own dreams, their own goals, their own things. Some of them are, locked in family businesses that they didn't even want to be in a pizza industry. They inherited it. You know what I mean? And I just want to tell them that try to find your space and carve out something for yourself and live your life, because we only die once. Not if you say you live once, you can live forever. Like, we're going to die.
Right.
That's a guarantee, right? So you might as well just try your best to carve out something for yourself. Like I was talking to someone, like I like to, something I'm very curious about is flying planes. I want to take pilot lessons.
Yeah.
You got to carve out these things, have adventure,
Yeah.
live your life.
Above and beyond just running the pizza shop.
Yeah, like do something special, get a fast car, splurge. Like for me, like sometimes how I let off my steam is I drive really fast.
Tell me when that happens so I can stay home.
Right? No. I open up the road sometimes just
I'm
to.
joking.
No, seriously. Like sometimes I just open up the road just to like let it off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we gotta have an outlet. We gotta have a thing. I tell people, have that dangling carrot.
Yep.
And always have that dangling carrot. What's next? What is next?
What is one piece of advice you would give them that is business related?
Business related. I would say.
Or pizza related.
Pizza related, I would say see what the trends are, and if something that's adaptable that feels good to you, don't be afraid to adapt to it. See, like definitely source your customers, see what they want, and it's nothing wrong with you having what you're gonna offer and you're set with that, but see what the next what's somebody might be thinking of something that you never thought of before, and it could be the difference in your business.
So don't be afraid to try something. Maybe you've always wanted to try, but afraid whether people will like it or not. Break out of the mold.
I always tell people, the time in my house was my proof of concept. People have eaten shitty pizza from me for years until I got great.
I don't know about that.
Well, no, until I got great. You look back and you say, wow, I can't believe I was making pizza like that back then, but they were loving it and ordering it.
Yeah.
The customers love you. They love what you're offering. You know what I mean? And, listen to them and appreciate them for that.
Awesome.
And then for the entrepreneur.
Aspiring operators, so someone who says, you know what? I think I can make really great pizza, or I'm working at another pizza shop and I'm saving money and I really want to turn my knowledge and my ability into my own shop because I want to have, my own place and provide for my family. What are some pieces of advice for someone like that?
I was like, find a perfect fit that works for you. You know what's going on in your family. You know what you want. You know the kind of freedom you want. And we're at a time and place where you can just really be an architect of your own life, of how you want to serve pizza. So, come up with a plan. I always tell people to have a plan. Like, have a plan. Figure out how much that plan costs. Save up your money and take a risk. You know what I mean? Just step out on faith. It's so important to step out on faith. Because you'll never know because you never tried.
Yeah.
You'll never know. And I give myself that pep talk myself. I'm not perfect. There's times I'm like, I don't know. But sometimes I'm like, step out on faith. You never know. And you know what's so funny? Have more faith in people. Because people, it's not money. People is what make the world go around.
Yep.
People.
Ask for help.
Ask for help.
Every time I've asked for help, I don't know if I can remember someone saying no.
Right.
It's so fascinating.
Yeah.
But very few people actually ask for help.
Ask for help.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised how many people are willing to help you.
Yeah. Especially in the pizza community. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Nicole. This has been so much fun.
Oh yeah, I had a ball.
I wanna invite you back once you open.
Oh,
and
anytime.
maybe we'll do this in Miami.
Yeah,
I'll
why
come
not?
to your shop.
Oh, that would be so great.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
Deal.
thank you, Aaliyah.
Thank you so much.